Hello, brothers.
Hey,
Hey, Chado.
This is different. I'm over here now, and I'm looking
what's
at you
going
guys.
on?
I like it.
Got a whole different perspective over here.
I'm just trying something a little different. I'm going to get it like a kink neck. You might not like it over here. See?
I know.
This
Really?
this is a lot. Yeah.
it kinks your neck over
Well,
there.
because
Because you got to turn and look both ways.
yeah, because over there I'm always looking ahead.
Yeah, you
wow,
think it's
that
easy.
sounds so difficult. Wow.
I think it's easy
I
being
mean,
me.
you think a producer is easy, but it's not.
Well, I think maybe next time I'll sit somewhere else. Just it sounds like the cool thing to do.
You should.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm not giving up the seat, by the way.
Never
This is,
again.
this is my new spot.
I think you should do all the editing and all the recording from
I'm
now
not
on.
doing the editing, but
Oh,
I'll
you
press the
get-
buttons that
you
you,
get to
say
press
is
the
so
buttons, you got-
difficult.
you
He
gotta
just
do the
wants the
rest.
power today.
Yeah. I got the remote, buddy.
He does
have
have the remote.
You can have it.
Yeah.
That's
So
fine.
what are we discussing today?
We're talking birth order,
Oh,
right? Is it better to be the oldest?
well, I'm not
Well, why
the
are you
oldest.
pointing-
Why
I
are
know
you
I'm
pointing
pointing
to
to you
me?
because you're the mid. I was expecting you to say the middle or the youngest.
It's all about
So
timing.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So you normally should be. It's about being the oldest, and then you point to me. But it's about the oldest.
I said the-
it's timing.
No, I said the oldest, and then I pointed to you.
Did he do that, Spencer, or did he point at the same
He says
time?
all about the oldest.
Right.
And
Well,
you
as in,
gestured
I
the
was
way
trying to
as
give
if
you an
the
he's the
implication
oldest.
was that I was the oldest, Chad.
I was giving you.
Just admit you messed up. It's okay.
I was giving you the
know,
heads
It was a
up.
kink in the
So
neck.
clearly, as the oldest person, it's hard to do it. So we're going to talk birth order. Okay.
Yes.
And the pros and cons of that birth
Yeah,
order.
first, second, or third child.
Okay.
What's better?
Alrighty.
All right, wait. Do you want to start us off as the middle child? Because you've got ignored most of your life. So
Right?
yeah,
You want to start with the middle?
whatever you want.
Shouldn't we go like lowest to oldest or youngest to oldest? I can start it. Oh, pointing at me again.
Okay, let's
I
go with
can
the
s-
oldest.
Yeah, I think you're right. The oldest.
that's right.
Chad, tell us what it's like to be the oldest. Because clearly you have
I think
control
there's-
issues.
No, I think there's advantages and disadvantages to being the oldest.
Tell us,
Truthfully.
Chad.
And I disagree with that. I think being the youngest is the best.
Really? You like control of the buttons over there. I can see that already.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's. I make it look pretty easy, actually. You'd
Yeah.
think that this was already mixed ahead of time and after the video happened.
It's
but-
not. It's modern technology at its finest. No, I think if you're asking me to go first, I think that.
We weren't actually. We're
Oh,
just saying,
sorry, you-
Wade,
Yeah, I don't recall us even asking him.
Wade, would you like
I thought
to?
you just said don't.
Spence?
It's fun, isn't it?
It is fun. I have the power of the control.
Yeah. I'll
Wade,
start.
would
I'll
you like
start.
to?
I will start. Yes. Well, I don't know if I can think of all the pros and cons of being a middle child. I can just talk about my experiences.
Okay,
I
that's
guess.
enough, Chad.
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly that sums up the middle child right there.
I think I got to take control back of the button.
No, this is.
Oh, that's funny.
That sums up the middle child experience.
No,
you get cut off.
You know what? Because you were the middle child, we're going to let you start this podcast.
Oh, that is so lovely and kind of you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Wade.
I do believe
All right,
that
can we wrap it up? No, go.
I do believe being a middle child that I probably learned some good mediation skills over the course of my life, which have actually served me quite well in my current profession.
So I want to ask you, can you give me an example of what mediation skills you might have learned?
Well, you two fought a lot.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Well-
I'm not sure if you realize that. Maybe you blacked
I
it
don't know
out.
if we fought that much. I just got beat up a lot.
No way.
You beat up on
what?
you beat up on Chad plenty too. You guys were at each other, and I think I was the referee for a lot of those situations.
You were.
trying to keep the peace. So I think I just learned how to keep the peace, and I find that interesting that I went into a profession for 20 years where I was helping others cope with their frustration,
Conflict resolution?
conflict
Well, let me ask you a
resolution.
question. If you think that you were so good at keeping the peace, how come we were fighting all the time? Doesn't that make you go,
Because I wasn't in the room, and then I had to come into the room and solve the problem because you guys clearly had no coping skills back then.
I see. I see.
So I
that's-
think
that's
I
it?
think that was part of it. I think I was a mediator and a peacemaker for a lot of that stuff. But people always say middle children syndrome, or it's clear you're a middle child. But there's actually been research about we need more middle children in our society, and we have a lack of that now because people are having fewer children.
Right.
Like 3 is a lot to have now, so now it's 1 or 2
Why would you need a middle child?
because they learn conflict resolution and they equally see both sides of an equation. They can make an informed decision based on looking at both sides. Someone who's an only child typically can be considered as selfish because they've only had to deal with their own emotions and what they want and their own needs and wants.
So, Chad, I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
Seeing how you were the oldest.
Yeah.
Do you subscribe to what Wade's saying?
As far as him being the resolution maker,
Yeah.
no, he was the punching bag. I mean, really, I think being in the middle, I have a lot of recollection actually of Spence and I, you kind of being the one in the middle. Like, I don't remember you breaking up fights, truthfully. No, I don't. Do you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You and I would be going at it, and then Wade would try to like stop us from fighting, and he would get a couple shots in the head because he's in there trying to like have us stop. You had a bad rage problem, Chad.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got traumatic brain injury from trying to solve the problem with you guys.
Yeah.
But
Well, no, I don't really remember a ton of that, truthfully. I remember a lot of fighting. No, I remember a lot of fighting, but I remember you and I fighting. I remember it seemed like it was either me and you, or me and Wade against you, or you and Wade against me. It was always changing up. I don't think it was one definite.
well, I think
you and I fought the worst.
I
Spence.
think there was I think he's blocked out some traumatic memories, but there's always an element with three siblings of two being together and one being on the outside. I think that's quite natural.
Yeah, I think inherently.
So sometimes it was you and Spence always kind of being
Right.
on the same page and gelling, and me being on the outs, and then sometimes it was me and you gelling and Spence being on the outs. Sometimes it was me and Spence. So
What? Did you guys like fall and bump your head?
what are you talking about?
I was always the guy left out.
What?
Like you're talking about how you and Chad and
No,
You were always left out.
I don't think so.
yes. I was the
Typical
youngest.
younger
You-
child syndrome.
You and Chad were closest in age.
Yes.
You obviously were around and had time to hang out before I got and made the whole life and the whole family life better. But
Wow.
in that time that you guys got to bond, and because you were older, you got to do things, and I was always too young. I always had to stay home with Mom, and that's why I became such a great cook, because Mom was always like, "You can be my little helper in the kitchen."
Oh, that's interesting.
First off, you're not a great cook. But let's
Well, he
Actually,
is.
no, you're
he
okay.
This
is.
is the guy who doesn't eat onion.
No, listen. if you're looking for somebody to cook a chicken breast for an hour and a half, he's your guy. That's what I'll say. I remember one time when you had a chicken breast, you invited me over and you had chicken boiling in the pan, and you said to me, I'm like, Bud, you got to get that out. It's going to get tough. You're like, no, trust me. It's just going to sit there and simmer for like a half an hour. I'm like, it's already cooked, man. Take it out.
I had
do you
it-
remember
I
that?
had it-
And as I recall, it
I
was
had
dry.
No, it
was
wasn't dry
dry.
at all. I actually had it simmering in like a white wine sauce, and it was actually delicious.
It was dry.
Your food just has no flavor because there's no spices, there's no
So
onions.
being the
there's
middle
no-
child, can you guys just stop fighting, please? See, this is my role.
Well,
I have to.
why
I
don't
have
you
to
do your
step in.
job and start
I
mediating?
have to step in and mediate because you guys
you
can't
should.
seem to have a
You should.
discussion.
All right, let's get serious now. Let me tell you about being the oldest.
Okay,
So I
it's Chad's
think-
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Typical.
well,
Yeah,
no,
I
it's
take
fine.
control.
You
No,
want
go
to
ahead.
talk about dry chicken?
No,
Or you wanna
clearly
get-
you're going to take over because you're the oldest. So no, it's okay, Chad.
Wait, just
What's this podcast called?
It's
Chad
Chad,
Pro
yeah.
Chad Bono.
Chad Bono. Go ahead, Chad.
So listen, I think when you're the oldest, there's good things and bad things.
Yes.
I think certainly one of the bad things, probably from looking at your parents, is that if you're the oldest, all of the stuff that they don't know how to do, they're learning how to do with you. Right? They don't know how to be a parent. They don't know how to discipline. They don't. So you're the experiment, right? They get to do lots of stuff, and by the time it gets to say you, Spence, they've kind of got it dialed in. But I sort of suffer from them figuring it out, I would say.
No, I say by the time it comes to me, they're like, oh my God, like this is what a child should be.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
No,
that's-
but by the time it gets to you, there are no rules because they're so chill that you got off easy.
Well, maybe I didn't need rules because I was such
No.
a good child. I was like,
you got off
yes,
way
mommy,
easier.
yes, daddy.
You got no. I was the
I
yes
was-
person.
yeah, you were,
You got
actually.
off way easier than Chad and I with rules. Absolutely, you did. They had calmed down. Don't you wouldn't you agree with
well,
that?
sure, because when you just start as a parent, you don't really know what to do. You're a bit more of a helicopter parent, probably in the beginning. You're scared of everything. Are they going to get hurt? What do I do? How do I do it? So I think that's probably a negative of going first. On the plus side, and actually another negative probably is, let me just think about something like driving a car. So I would be the first one saying to them, "Hey, I want to learn how to drive," And I can pretty much tell you what Dad's face looked like when I said I wanted to take the car out and learn to drive. He'd be like,
Hang on, was that asking before you'd already taken it?
I was going to say,
drive,
was that before or after you stole the car and took it for a joyride?
no, that was not learning to drive. That was joyriding. That's two different
Well,
things.
that's hence Dad's face when you said
Yeah.
you wanted to do it legitimately.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the difference is Dad didn't know I was joyriding the car at that time.
Well, we thought he didn't know.
Well, I'm assuming he didn't. But no, I think that it would be very hard to, give up control of your vehicle to one of your kids. They want to drive. It's scary as a
Yep.
parent. I mean, you guys have both done it now, so you
Yep.
remember that. I think obviously when you came along, Wade, it was probably a little easier. And by the time you came along, they were already planning for, I guess we got to start getting Spence out there to learn how to drive.
Yeah, I was driving when I was 12. I was like, here, threw me the keys.
Yeah, okay.
I've had too many rum and cokes. You're driving from the boat.
No, I mean, I think that would be a negative is that, because you are the first for so many things, you have to go through the experimental stage of how your parents are learning to parent you.
I would agree with that. I think back to my own kids, and we were very different with Zach than we were with Allie, just from a standpoint of your height. Like everything's heightened as a new parent. You're just like, oh my god! And
Right.
I remember Sue sterilizing everything he touched and making sure he was going to be safe. And then Allie came along, was like picking up a lollipop on the street, and it's like, oh, she's fine. She'll get an immune system. Like you just don't care. It's very different with your first. So I think you probably did have some experimentation done on you.
Sure.
And you probably had some over parenting or maybe under parenting at times. And then by the time I came, they were now refining their parenting skills. And by the time you came, I think they were probably just really chill.
Yeah, here's what I can say. I'm sure you guys paved the way and they learned a lot,
Well, they learned a lot from Chad for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely tested them.
You showed them how to be a disappointment. No, just kidding.
Oh,
Holy
I'm
cow.
just kidding. No, you showed them.
Why were
I'm not really,
abortions
I'm
legal
not really
back then?
sure what you showed them, but you showed them
you
some
showed
stuff.
them. You taught them patience and perseverance.
Oh, yeah, I taught them how to drink.
Yeah.
Probably.
But what I was going to say is, I do agree. I think being the baby of the family has a ton of privileges. I think the parents are way more chill. They're way more relaxed. They've been there, done that. So it's like, yeah, he's fine. So I think I had probably more autonomy
100% you did.
to do things.
absolutely.
And I think too, when you're the youngest and your parents know that they're not going to have any more kids, I think you maybe, I don't want to say spoiled, because I don't think I was ever like a spoiled brat. I was probably a brat.
Okay, let me just join in on that one.
I was waiting for you to join in.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, join in.
No, actually.
Now, before you do, Chad, can
yeah.
we just not fight, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Go
see?
ahead, be a peacemaker.
Let's try to make the peace.
No, go.
No, I actually don't have anything to add. I agree with what you were saying. But I did think of another thing that's sort of...
So I guess I'm finished. You can.
No. The reason I wanted to talk was to just let you know that you can go ahead.
Okay, so I'll go ahead. So I am going to say this. As much as there were perks, there was a lot of drawbacks. And I think the one I mentioned was, I felt anyways, when we were growing older, you guys were, 2 and you were, Chad, 4 years older than I was. And so there was a kind of a big gap. And there was a lot of things I couldn't do because I was too little and too young. And Mom would send you guys out, and then I would be stuck by myself. I do remember many times being by myself, having to kind of play by myself.
Can you think of examples of where we would have gone?
That's
that
just
you
like your
weren't
adult life.
playing by
Oh, you
yourself.
said play by yourself. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, not with.
No, I know you're young, but can you think of the situations where we were actually going out somewhere that you weren't allowed to go?
I don't know. It probably was like you guys went skating and I was too young. I didn't know how to skate or something. Like, I don't know.
Well, we didn't know either.
Well, yeah. I don't think you do. Do you still know?
It was ankle skating, wasn't it?
Yeah. But, I do remember that as a drawback. Obviously, I never had new clothes. I always had hand-me-downs
That's
that
true.
were like 4 years old. So I was already out of style, looking like an idiot.
We all had hand-me-downs, let's be honest.
Well,
I mean, I got
yeah,
hand-me-downs from the
yeah.
Tanakas, we all got.
And I mean, if we're
you
honest,
didn't get any hand-me-downs.
well, I did actually. I got a lot of Greg
Greg? Yeah.
Hayward's clothes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. You don't remember those really ugly Pepsi shoes that I had?
No.
They were remember your platform shoes. I mean, we're definitely aging ourselves here. They were like they had a big Pepsi logo on them. They had like these huge, like big chunky heels on them. And I got those from Greg, and Mom thought that was just the coolest. But you know what? When you're getting brand new clothes and they're from Byway, they're not that exciting, anyways.
I love getting clothes from Rob Tanaka because they were all really nice, Lacoste, and they were nice clothes for sure. But as a middle child, I don't think either one of you had to go through Mom making a suit out of
Velour curtains,
upholstery fabric or something.
Yeah, but
at least they should be thankful that she didn't use the plastic that was on the couch.
Well, I remember it
could have
being
been your
really
suit.
hot. I think it had a rubber backing on it still. It was a hot suit.
I think that's true. Actually,
Yes.
the suit actually did have the rubber backing from the curtains.
It was a very hot
Like
suit.
people might think we're joking, but you actually had a suit made out of the curtains.
I think it was like chair upholstery.
It was
it was
velvet.
velour.
Or velvet. It was velvet.
Velour or velvet. I can't remember.
It was
I can't remember exactly
it was
what
special.
it was. It was. I think you got your grade 8 graduation photos done in that. Yeah, you were styling.
So with being a middle child, I'm curious about this. Do you think something's happened to me because Mom tried them with you and thought, well, that worked? Like I'm thinking about the day Mom thought it was a good idea to give us both perms, home perms.
Well,
And you had a wicked fro,
Yeah.
and then Mom also decided to give me one, but you never had to do it.
No, hang
So
on.
I'm
No,
not sure
as a young one, she realized, oh my God, that looks ridiculous.
No, actually, let me tell
and
you.
I was like, I'm not
It
having
did
that.
look
I said no.
ridiculous.
I think I just said I'm not doing it.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Actually, what happened, if you recall, Wade, is that we all went to her friend's house at the same. It was on the same day, and I just happened to go first and got it. And Mom thought it was cool. Okay, Wade, you're next. And then I think after she had done both of us, she probably thought, "Oh my God, I can't do this to Spencer." That's
Or
probably what
maybe
happened.
maybe she got
I
the
was-
bill and
no, I-
realized it was too expensive.
No, I was
No.
her favorite. And so she was like,
Well, that too.
yeah,
That too.
she didn't want to do that to me.
No, that was.
I think that was your punishment. I think you did something
That-
and she was like, oh yeah?
Yeah.
You're getting a perm. But
that's right. That's what you get for not doing your homework. You're getting in a full on perm.
So we're talking about a lot of kind of funny, negative kind of con things. But
Sure.
are there some pros you can think of being the firstborn?
Yeah, it was very convenient that I was, always a babysitter no matter what.
That's a pro.
as a pro,
No, I just don't have any right now.
you can't think of any pros of being the oldest.
Well, listen, I think that you're the first one in all seriousness that maybe gets the privilege of when you want to go out or you want to stay overnight at a friend's or there's those sorts of things that, you get. Those are all part of the firsts.
For sure.
I think there's probably more negatives than pros, truthfully, because as the first, once you guys come along, I'm expected to know better, to do better, to be the informed one, to make the better decisions. And I wasn't necessarily good at that at the time.
I was just going to say, what? Did you not read the book then? Because you didn't do any of those things.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Those were the expectations that you're the oldest, you should know better. And it does put a bit of extra weight on you, I think, when you're the oldest, that you're supposed to set an example.
Yeah, I think it does. But there is, if you reframe that, there is a pro that your younger brothers look up to you because you're the older brother. That's a pro.
So let me ask you, did you look up to me when you were little?
I think so.
Oh, thank you, Swade.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I mean, I said I think.
Yeah.
No, I think so. I mean, there's pressure to make the right choices as an older
Yes.
brother, but I think naturally you look up to your older brother. You probably looked up to, well,
I looked forward to getting beat up. I think. No, but I did. Obviously, both of you guys, as being my older brothers, yeah,
I seem to recall saving you a few times on the playground from being beat up. So,
yeah,
I looked out for you.
you did.
You
Well, that's only because Chad, wasn't in school. He was skipping school.
Oh, come on.
And
Come on.
so I
That's not-
had to go to you. I didn't have.
He didn't go to that school.
Yeah, you guys went to...
That was Harris Heights.
You guys were at Harris Heights. I wasn't at that school.
Oh, right.
But I mean, there's another negative because I didn't have anybody to look up to because I was the oldest. So I just had to be the one getting looked up to.
I mean, some of the cons or the conflict you had naturally fell towards me too.
Yeah, well, that's one of the
And to
bad...
Spencer's.
Yeah, that's one of the bad issues of you being the middle or you being the youngest is all of the teachers that I had first already had a preconceived notion of what to expect from you guys,
Yes.
which was excellence.
But then they met, then they met me and thought, okay, so there's some hope for the McCones.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they met me, and they were like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah. No, I would actually tell you guys to tell me what you think the positives are of being, say, the oldest. Because
I'm not the oldest, so I don't know.
Listen, I think there are probably some, but right now, I'm not really thinking of them. So what's something that you would think would be?
I can tell you. So
Sure.
I look at it with my own kids, right?
Okay.
And I know what it was like when we had our firstborn child, being Madison, and how I felt about that firstborn child, and everything was so new, and we had so many pictures. And it was just, I remember everything about the pregnancy, the birth, as you guys always laugh at. She's crowning,
Yeah.
right?
For 30 hours.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a plus. Is that there was a lot more pictures of me as being the first.
Is that where
Right?
you're going to go with that?
I was just going to say that you have, I think it was more, I feel like there's more memories that I remember
It's new.
because it was so new.
Yeah.
And I had never experienced anything like that before.
Yeah,
And
but
so,
hang on, that's your memories though. We're talking about the child, their perspective.
No, he's getting there. If you just see, once again, Chad, being the oldest child, you just have to jump right in,
why do you
take control. No, Spence is just talking about, he's relating his experience with his firstborn.
all right.
And how maybe that also equated to mom and dad's firstborn being you.
Carry on. Third
Is that
bone.
not what you were doing?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm just once again stepping in to mediate. I mean,
like,
clearly.
honestly.
Exactly another reason why it's not good to be first? But go ahead.
So, but when I say that, I think the oldest child gets, not that it's, more love than the other kids, but I think it's different because it's so new that the parents are like doting over that firstborn, and you're like, you're their everything in that moment. And so I think, and again, I can only talk from, I was never like a first child, so I don't know, but I just know all the attention Madison got from us. It was like, she was everything. She was our world until Taylor came around.
Sure,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
as a child though, you don't realize that. You don't feel that because you have nothing to compare it to. I don't think. Would you?
Well, I
How
think
would you
you're
know that you're
feeling,
being
you're feeling
built?
all that love. You're feeling there's nowhere else that anyone can get the love except for you. You're the only child.
I think you have a good point, Chad, that maybe you don't know about that, but I can tell you with my kids that Allie very early on was like, where the heck are all my pictures? And she was like, well, clearly you love Zach more. Zach didn't say, well, yes, they did, because he didn't know anything different.
Right.
But he got way more pictures than Allie did
And more
because he was new. So you may not see that benefit, but we certainly could see the benefit with you that you probably got way more attention and focus than we did, because we were, and it's quite natural when your first one, you're like, I'll never feel this kind of love again. And then your second one comes along and you're like, oh my God, I feel it again. Like,
Yes, I agree. I can see how that could have happened, that there would have been that extra attention or whatever, given to me, but because you have nothing to compare it to, you wouldn't realize that as a bonus
yeah.
at the time.
I guess I can say the other bonus you had being the firstborn is you got every single toy in the cereal box. You always, every time any cereal, but we didn't have many cereal boxes that had toys because the puff bags didn't have it.
There was no toys in the puff bag.
But when there was a toy, you always were the first one to reach in there and pull it out and then take the toy. And then we were just kind of left there just to eat a cereal. Wade resorted to reading the back of the box. And I just sat there like an idiot because I was all pissed off that I didn't have a toy.
And we naturally just let you do it because you were the oldest. Because you'd beat us up.
Okay, well, I guess that's an advantage. I mean, I don't know. I don't look at it that way, but I don't even remember stealing the toys, to be honest with you. I don't even remember having cereal that had toys.
I seem to recall you're blacking out a lot of your childhood.
I can recall Honeycomb having hockey cards in it. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing.
I didn't even know what a hockey card was until later in life because of you.
Okay, so I robbed you of knowing about hockey cards
because you took them all.
Right.
Listen, the reality is, no matter what age what order you're born in, we've all learned from each other there were benefits of being a middle child, or things that I learned as a middle child, things you learned as an older child and a younger child. But we've all, just being in a family together, we learned how to work with each other. Like that, to me, that's the greatest gift of all, the greatest learning of all, is how to even just deal with those three personalities, which is much different than an only child who doesn't have to do that, or someone who's homeschooled that doesn't have to do that. We learn so much just dealing with each other.
That's a question. Would you ever want to be an only child?
I don't think so.
No.
Because I wouldn't have this.
No.
Yeah. I don't think so. Like as much as we joke about fighting and growing up and that kind of stuff, we still have arguments now. I would miss the fact that we couldn't even do that. Like at least we have that privilege of being able to disagree on something.
I'm just
that
happy.
sounds-
I'm just happy that I can still take you.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think you can.
No. We know who the toughest one in the room is. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I guess I'm Spencer.
Yeah. Toughest. Yeah.
So we've talked about what you think my advantages are. What do you think? Is there an advantage of being the middle child, Wade?
Yeah. I learned a lot of, I'm quite serious about that. I learned mediation skills. I learned to look at both sides because I had to. If you guys were in conflict, I had to look at both of your perspectives and then try to help you solve that problem. So I did learn that 100%.
I wonder why. I think what I learned is that it was the most fun to make fun of the middle child. And I don't even know why that is, but I do feel like you've probably taken the brunt of a lot of jokes over the years that Spence and I would be cracking jokes, oh, you're the middle child. Like everybody always says, oh, he was the middle child. It seems like that's the area where you're set up for jokes at your expense.
Maybe, which I find interesting because I think you didn't really get a rise out of me. I was always just like I just learned how to
Let it roll off you.
Yeah. So typically you bug people who you get a rise from, and I don't know.
What about you, Spence? Is there any advantages from your perspective?
Of being a youngest, yeah, I think because I had to fight for everything, like whether it was food, all the bowls went around and I was the last guy to get.
Okay, yeah. Like they put out enough for 4 people and you were the 5th and got nothing?
No, but if you guys, if dad and mom are getting their food and then you're grabbing your scoop of potatoes and then Wade, if there was, a little bit left, I got the least amount. If it was all equal, if there was enough potato for 5 people.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't.
I know mom never made just enough for 5 people, but I'm just saying.
Did we actually get our food in order of birth? I don't know if we did.
No, but I think you guys just took over. And I was, because I'm the youngest, I just had to sit there and kind of, like I had to fight for everything. That's what I feel like. I feel like I had to fight for a lot growing up. And whether that was
for your
fighting
rights.
fighting for your attention, because you guys.
You got to fight.
Sure, you're right.
Yeah.
Right. But I honestly, I do feel that I think the younger sibling always feels like they have something to prove because the other 2 brothers were older and took advantage and maybe beat them up or whatever, teased them, whatever it was.
Or were so successful that you had to raise to that level.
Well, I think we can say that that's not true in this family. But
Wow.
I'm just
You know
kidding.
what I also recognize?
I just
I'm
want you to
kidding.
know that I paved the way for you.
The youngest
Yes.
child is also the most modest. I've come to realize.
Yeah, I'm modest. Hardly.
I'm kidding. No, but I do believe that that's my greatest strength is that I feel like I had to fight for everything I got. And because of that, I think that gave me a certain drive.
Maybe you were a little tougher as a result of just having to kind of feel like you had to work more for what.
Yeah, to
you
fight
got in
for
life.
my life. From getting beat up.
Come on.
Literally.
You
for
make it
my
sound
life.
like every week you were getting beat up.
Yeah.
I don't think
No,
so. Were you
I don't
really?
think so. No.
By Chad? Not by me.
Wait, there were times I used to be calling mom at work, like, Mom, help! And then Chad is like chasing me around the house like it's a game.
Okay.
Like, honestly.
You were just
Oh.
I do remember. I remember you calling mom honestly about like just
Every
feeling
other
like you were
day.
getting picked on. But I feel like that was a little bit dramatic because you weren't
he
you weren't
was-
getting pounded.
He was dramatic. He's the youngest child. He was always a bit more dramatic.
Yeah. Hence the theater background. Right?
Yeah. But I don't think, like, you and I remember you and I can remember one fight you and I had where I felt really bad when I hurt you. Other than that, I don't think you and I fought that much.
No.
We argued, but we didn't really fight. Like,
Right, because I think you saw, listen, Chad's doing enough damage to
Oh, come
Spencer.
on.
Yeah.
I'm
Come on.
not
That's
gonna
not
do
true.
that.
but do you remember the fight I'm talking
No.
about? It was on Quinton Road.
On Quinton Road.
Was that not the road across from us on Deer Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And we were walking somewhere coming home from there, and you and I started fighting. And I remember I think I might have kicked you in the face or something, but I got so mad that
Accidentally.
No, I got so mad at it, but I remember feeling immediately bad when I did it because I truly hurt you, and I felt really bad that I did that.
You should have, Wade. That's bad.
Well, I thought Chad does it all the time and seems fine with it.
Yeah.
So I thought, why am I?
Chad, this is
so-
something Chad would do.
Why am
that
I
is
getting
not true.
upset?
I honestly can only remember a few small instances
Oh my God.
of actual like full on physical altercations with you and I. We argued and stuff all the time, or pushed each other around. But I mean, really, like fighting. I don't.
Like truly mad, mad.
truly.
I remember the thing we talked about at Oxford and Wonderland of, pulling each other out of the car and all that kind of stuff. I remember getting smacked with a stool in the back on Canterbury when you hit me with a stool.
I
honestly
remember going down the driveway under your park.
I
in the
remember
car.
that one in the driveway and the fight. And there's
a handful.
No, but there's three. But over a lifetime, that was. I mean, we were young adults at the third one I mentioned. I couldn't honestly give you 5 times that I remember real physical violence between you and me when we were young kids.
Wait, can you pass me the binder behind you there? I've got it. Just turn to 1981, I think is where it starts.
It's segregated by decades.
Yeah. Okay, so you said about those are the bad things. Is there any good things that you can think of being the youngest?
No, I said the good things.
He said the good things.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I got... It was way less rules, less stringent on me.
Oh,
I had way more opportunity to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah, you probably had free. You would have.
I had way
freedom.
more free. Yeah, I had way more freedom than you guys had for sure.
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
there were rules I had that you didn't apply to you, and I was like, "What? That's not fair. How come Spencer gets to do it?" But you were, it was just.
I was their favorite.
Yeah, well, I think they were just chill. They were just like, "Yeah, we've already kind of done the hard." I think they realized probably some of the mistakes they made as parents early on.
Sure.
Because we all make mistakes as first parents. And they probably didn't want to repeat those. So then it was Spence, it was just like, oh, we're just way more chill. But we saw that as like free reign. You're getting away with it. How come we didn't have that same?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the same in all families. Like Sue will tell you, her brothers will say, oh, God, you had such an easy upbringing compared to us, being the only girl and being the youngest. She probably doesn't feel that way, but
I think she would admit that she was a little spoiled.
Oh, for sure. But I just mean like from a disciplinary perspective or rules, she only knew what she knew, but her brothers would clearly say, oh God, mom and dad were so much easier with you than they were with us. I think that's just how it goes.
I don't know. Well, I don't know about good or bad, but here's what I do know. I'm proud to be your older brother, Spencer.
Well, I am proud that you're my older brother.
Oh, thank you. Wade, and I'm proud that you're the middle child as well.
I'm proud that I've allowed you to ridicule me for all those years and be the brunt of the jokes.
It's honestly one of my proudest moments as well.
No, I said this earlier. I would never want to change it.
No.
I would never want to be an only child or not have brothers to rely on or to have these kind of debates with or joke with, or there's lots of laughs between the three of us.
Yeah,
So.
we joke all the time about all this kind of stuff, but the truth is we're so lucky we have a very close bond, and I think all the fighting and stuff that we did as kids really allowed us
Just
to...
brought us closer together.
No, it kind of did.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
I don't know. I think it kind of did. I think I don't know, but I don't feel like we're the norm. I think for the most part in our whole lives, we've always maintained super close-knit. We've had a very tight bond. We've been able to count on each other. And I think not every family can say that. So I feel...
Actually, that is true.
I feel blessed.
I can say that, even just people that I know, like at some point in the evolution of that, siblings, from whatever age, they got estranged or they were just like, I'm not talking to
somebody
Chad,
was
or
on
I'm
the
not
outs.
talking
Absolutely.
to Wade. And we've never had that. We've always... We've actually never actually had that.
I hear it all the time. Lots of my friends are like, oh, I don't talk
Virtually
to my brother.
everybody I know has either a problem with one of the siblings, or they're not talking to them, or vice versa, or they don't talk to the dad, or they're not close with the mom, or something. We have all of that. So super blessed.
Yeah.
But yes, we are very fortunate. But that doesn't happen in isolation. Like there's a reason for that too. We've always been a family to state our opinion, to be upfront, to be honest with each other, even if we know it's going to be hurtful, right? To be sometimes brutally honest, right?
Yeah.
And that does go a long way to keep you close in the end, as opposed to just going, he pissed me off and I'm going to write him off now for the next 2 months. I'm not talking to him. Because if I didn't call you for a week and you called me, you'd be like, what's up? And I'm just mad at you. You'd say, well, then let's talk about it. You wouldn't say, okay, then see ya. Right. We would always push each other to say, no, okay, we're going to put it on the table. So because we don't want this distance. That's the difference. I think we're willing to have the tough conversations.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we should wrap it up. We've covered a lot of stuff. I guess you guys, you're welcome for having such a good younger brother who made the family dynamic what it is.
I paved the
You
way.
paved the way.
Yeah, you're welcome for
And
us setting a good example
Yeah.
for you.
No,
Spence.
honestly, I appreciate
You know
that.
that
you
really
should.
that torn shirt of mine from Byway. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for those
For all the
bell-bottom
hand-me-downs,
pants when
you're
bell-bottoms
welcome.
weren't in style. Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
In all
brothers,
seriousness, though, guys,
I wouldn't
do-
change it for the world.
love
No,
you.
I
love you
would. I
both.
wouldn't either. Love you both.
Love you too.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks for being there.
All right.
Till next time.
On Pro Bono.